Okay, I wanted to read a bunch of funny poems, but apparently I'm not in a funny mood, so you can just laugh at me instead if you want. I'll start with the first one. It's the saddest one. It's called A House That Is Haunted. We made this house out of elephant bones. The elephants came every season. They put their trunks on it. They touched along every bone. They put the trunks inside the hollow parts. We stacked the skulls into a staircase, made the tusks into the handrail, and they put their trunks into the eye sockets of our stairs and where the brains had been and into the tusks. They were making our house dirty with all their orange dust, so we shooed them away. They looked sad there at the edge of the yard with their backs turned toward us, touching each other's tusks. Next one is called This Dusty Thing May Cause Allergies. The hummingbirds are swarming. They are zooming by my face like animals. A troubling is what that's called. They might have blessed me. I will explode into spooning and laughter. I'm holding a morsel of lipstick, and I have no idea what to do with it. This one is Untitled. We are playing a game. You stand on the roof and throw parts of your body down the chimney. I pick them up. One leg bounces upright on the floor, firm. I set the other leg beside it. You send down your torso, a trunk if I ever saw one, and I handle it gingerly. I place it upon the legs. You send down an arm and an arm. They rattle against the hearth. They rattle independently, and I grasp their cozy flesh. I place them where they go. Measure twice, cut once, they say. Last comes your head. I intercept your head. I tuck it under my arm. I sneak it away, streaming red. I put it inside a bag and steal away. The spell never breaks. I am devoured. This one is also untitled. Then the clouds of dust, like sun showers and the yellow sky, aphids, dead wings, an entire morning of feathers. The things that fell fluttered, never caked. They moved constant and mangled. It rained static and paper. We held out, tongues hoping. A thick thing in my mouth oozed, waiting, wrecked. I am writing a letter in the static. The flood will come and soak through the static, and this ink will travel 2,746 miles back to you, and you will read it in the water. The lines of blue electricity that make up the words. When you read it, it will affect your tear ducts. You will make campfires in my words and fan them, and the smoke signals will float 2,746 miles back to me, and I will smudge my tongue on them, turn them into steam, and undress for you. You will see what I am made of. Partitioned hard drives, space, and carcass, warm. When we die, we will be dead forever, but for now, you are writing me messages in light, writing me messages on walls in every continent. I swim through them one by one. They come to me like a panic made of hummingbird flights. We are vulnerable, which means I think we vuln easily. We are full of blood.
Yeah.
I made a witch daughter, and we sat in the grass. A large crow dipped into our yard, grabbed her by her overalls, and flew off on loud wings. She giggled and dropped her sparkler, which shed glints down to the grass, combusted. All I could smell were rotten potatoes and spent firecrackers. Several men types elbowed their way into my yard to claim savior. One had the face of 4 angels and wore a suit made of manskin. He could see in many directions, but he smelled like rot, an odor that earns my disapproval. He walked toward me, animal, and I said, "Stop in your tracks," which were killing my grass. He stopped incanting quietly. The second man had the face of a young Teddy Roosevelt, with that beard like a schnauzer or a madman boxer. Stripped to the waist, he wore floppy riding breeches, grinned wildly, twirled a spark-spraying lasso with large hands and an outrageous unibrow, and looked the most like my daughter. Another man had many frightening heads. One head the head of the Old Spice guy. Another the head of Ronald Reagan, lost and papery. Another was blindfolded and had a flatlined mouth, the head of the first man I ever loved. Nobody needs a witch daughter, I thought. I aimed my arrow high. I'm gonna do it on time. Here's one.
You're good.
Okay. All right, this is the last piece. It's probably weirder than all the rest of them. It's called The Flayed One, a family tale. When I get to the kitchen, my mother is sipping a Negroni. The smoke from her cigarette blurs her face and everything else in the room. She sits at the table in her nightgown, stroking her mink stole until blue stars of electricity light up the side of her face. It is 2 p.m. She stares at me in the doorway. "Pull down that smoke alarm," she says as I tiptoe toward her. The neighbor's 7-year-old son proudly marches by the kitchen window, stark naked except for his sneakers, holding a yellow Little Tikes Playhouse chair in front of him. As she does when she has been drinking, my mother starts talking about Shipetotec, the flayed one. He was radiant, she muses. The priests wore human skins that rotted around them for 20 days. "You're not even Mexican," I murmur. She exhales into my face and laughs like I'm not there. She starts going on about the fluctuses of Venus. My father rides his bike up the driveway, ringing the bell with all the gaping enthusiasm of a sitcom dad. "Stick him up," he says, producing a quart gun. I shoot him in the face with a sticky paintball and he concusses. Revived, he begins to weep. I approach the kitchen as the flayed one walks in, his muscles gleaming, bloody, and uninhibited by a dermal cover. The stitched-up wound in his chest pulses and leaks. He pours himself a coffee and kisses my mother on the cheek, lit up by her mink sparks. She does not break eye contact with me. Later, I have to clean his bloody footprints off the floor and wash their blood-stained sheets. The flayed one is effulgent. I do not mind the chore. My father comes in as I am scrubbing and slugs me on the arm. "What's the word?" he chortles. He sees the bloody bucket of water and faints again. I revive him with the bucket. My father's briefcase is open in the hallway, and I follow the trail of papers into the kitchen, where he is sitting at the table in an open bathrobe and his underwear. A large gauze pad is taped across his chest, and he is rifling through tri-tab folders of account information. "Morning, slugger," he says. "Hey, check it out." He untapes the pad and reveals a glistening and raw new tattoo. My mother's name in a very dated font. My mother's mink is hanging up on the chair beside him, inert. She is still asleep. I walk outside, and the neighbor's son is sitting in our grass in Spider-Man underwear, eating rocks. Thank you.
Yeah.